The IDE that I'm going to be using is PyCharm. I'm going to open the folder which will contain this program and simulation data. So I'm just going to go click on OK, trust this project and server, and there we have it. Okay, the first thing that I would like to do is rename this particular program file. It, uh, it has got spaces, it's got a few capital letters, and the way I would like to refactor this particular file is we're giving it a name with lower cases and words separated by underscore. So for this example, I'm just going to change it to simulation.py. When I click on this particular file, we can see that we've got a bunch of variables. We've got a class with init function inside and many other functions. As we scroll down, we can see that at the end we've got a if underscore name is equals to main q simulator instruction. So let's see what's going to happen when we trigger this script. I'm going to open up my terminal. I'm going to be using my git bash terminal to run this particular program. Now, the way I would run it is, there are two different ways you can run it in PyCharm. You can just run python simulation.py, and you can see in the console we've got settings set for the simulation, text showing up, simulation time 10, tilts operating 2. Do you wish to change the settings? For now, I'll say no, and you can see a bunch of output has been presented to us. I'm just going to scroll completely to the top. What do we see over here? So we can see a list followed by another list, which in these both lists contain n number of lists inside them, which we're going to be looking at what they are. We've got a header section with different block of text representing the shop's status. Scrolling down completely, we can see the end of the simulation statistics over here with the max Q3, max wait time as 4, 8 buyers arrived during 10 time unit, the average waiting time was 1.8, the average queue length was 1.75, 4 buyers did not need to queue, and we just need to hit enter to finish, and there we have it. So that's what we've got from this particular simulation. So the first thing that I would recommend is to understand the output of this particular file. So we know that there is a setting, simulation time is provided, and tilts operating, the count has been provided number 2 as default. We have an option to change it when this particular message comes up on the screen, which asks us, do you wish to change the settings? I clicked on no. If we click on yes, we have an option to change them. But for now, let's just use the default settings, simulation time 10 until 2. We can see this is the output that has come up. It's important for us to understand how this output is coming up and what this represents. So time is the time in units. So the 0 time would represent the first initial point when a buyer arrives. So buyer enters and the item. So B1 is the first buyer and the number of items that he has in his basket. And at this instance, we've got 8. Start to serve the buyer. So till number 1 has began serving the buyer number 1. Now the serve time is provided as 3. We will find out how it is calculated once we deep dive into the code. Till number. Now we know from the settings that we have allowed, the till operating is count 2. So that's exactly what we're going to see over here. There are 2 rows showing up. So till number 1 and till number 2. Time idle. Till number 1 is 0. So he, so as soon as the simulations began, let's assume when the simulation begins, it's the exact time when the shop has opened up and the tills were ready to serve the customers. As soon as the two tills were ready to serve the customers, this particular till number one did not have to wait at all. Immediately, a customer walked in with 8 items in their basket, and that till got busy. So, the till getting busy or not busy is going to be represented by a boolean 1 or a 0. So, 1 represents busy, 0 represents not busy. Time serving. So, this is the remaining time required to serve this particular customer. It's 0 for till number 2 because he does not have a customer at the moment. On the extreme right column, we've got the statistics of the queue. The buyer ID is going to be represented, the wait time, items in the basket. So instantly at the first time unit, which is 0, we just have one buyer. As we can see, this particular buyer 1:8 has entered and he joined the queue, and the tills were free, so he immediately went ahead and got served by till number 1. Based on the preliminary questions, we know that the left side represents the arrival time based on the previous buyer. So the second buyer 1:5 has arrived one time unit after the first buyer, so he is represented in the first number 1 time unit. So the buyer B2 has arrived with 5 items in his basket. It's going to take 3 time units to completely serve the customer B1. So what we are going to see is over here, till number 1, who started serving buyer number 1, is still busy, which means he has been busy for the first time unit, he's busy for the second time unit as well, serving the customer. So time serving remaining is 1. So this till number 2 has an idle time of 1. Time busy is 1. This one has been carried on over here, which is what we are seeing. So this is going to be continuously tracked, and that's going to be showing up in the statistics in the end. Time busy, yes, this particular till is busy as well. Now he's got a customer who he needs to serve, and it's going to take him 2 time units to serve customer B2 because he has lesser items, which is the count of 5. So the third customer does not arrive immediately. He arrives 2 time units later. Therefore, we do not display the buyer entering over here because there is no other customer coming in exactly back to back behind the second customer. So there is no customer to start serving. There's no till information, no serve time mentioned over here. However, the till number 1 is still busy serving B1, and he has been serving for this is the third time unit that he's serving this particular customer, and he indeed required 3 time units to serve this customer. Time extra required to serve this customer? No, 0. So he's going to finish off serving the customer B1. Till number 2, his time busy is 2, and that's going to be sufficient for this particular till to serve this customer as well. At time unit 3, the customer B3 enters with 20 items. B3 is the customer's ID, and he is immediately going to be served by till number 1. We know already over here that at this particular point of time, the serve time required for the customer number 1 was 3. So 1, 2, 3. 3 time units is sufficient to serve customer B1, and therefore this particular till who was serving customer B1 is now free, which is why the customer B3 is going to be served by this particular till, which is now free. So time unit 4 and 20 items. It's going to take 7 time units to serve this customer, and therefore the remaining is going to be 6. And till number 2 is going to be free after the next one. So B4, the next customer with 13 items, is going to be served by till number 2. And as we keep going further down, you can see this particular customer B3 with 20 items is going to be served by till number 1, and it's going to take 7 time units to serve this particular customer, as he's got 20 items in his basket, which means that this till is going to be free only after the only on the 10th time unit, which is 7 plus 3. So this particular till number 1 is going to be busy with that same customer until it finishes over here. The customer B4 is served by the till number 2, and this particular customer is going to take 5 time units to be served, and therefore it's going to end at around the 11th time unit. Now until then, both of these tills are going to be free. What's going to happen to the customer who's going to join in next, which is B5? B5, the one with 2 items, he's going to come in and he's just going to join the queue. And the queue information, the queue stats, it says the amount of time that customer needs to wait and the items in the basket. So this is customer number B5, the amount of time this customer has to wait, and the items that he's got in his basket. And he's still going to be there because both till 1 and till 2 are busy with customer B3 and B4. Another customer B6 joins, he's going to join the queue with 25 items. Nobody joins here, therefore there is nothing added in the queue. B7, another customer joins in and he's joined in the queue with 7 items. B8, at this stage, okay, as you can see, the time remaining for till number 1 at this particular instance is only 1 time unit. So the till number 1 is going to be occupied serving the buyer in the next time unit. Till number 2 has remaining time unit as 0, and therefore he's going to be free next. So what's going to happen is, you can see a new customer has joined in B8 over here with 50 items, but we don't have B5 over here. The reason is because till number 2 is freed up, and he's going to be serving this particular customer B5 who has 2 items, which is just going to take 1 time unit, and he's going to finish serving within this time unit itself. And this both the tills 1 and 2 are going to be done serving the customers at hand. In the next iteration, 2 customers B6 and B7 are going to join the tills, and B8 is still in the queue, and as you can see, it keeps on going. This is B7 with 7 items, which is this, arrives 2 down. B8 with 50, and simulation time ends, and therefore we don't have anything else. So when we scroll down, you can see at the end of the screen, we can see the statistics. The max queue length was 3 buyers. Max queue length. So this is the amount of people who had to stand in a queue while others were served, which is what we've already seen. The max wait time was 4. 8 buyers arrived during 10 time units. So 10 time units was our testing scenario simulation. So we were able to, within that 10 time unit, we were able to serve 8 customers only. And that's what this sentence is saying. Average page time was 1.8, which we're going to look at how that is calculated. Average queue length 1.75, and 4 buyers did not have to need to queue. So there we have it. So let's start to take a deep dive into the code and try to understand how it's working and take it further from there.